Well, hey folks, this is Fat Guy Flies RC coming to you from the Man Cave Studios. Sorry if I sound a little nasally, I'm getting over a cold. I just got back from the New England states, taking Mom up for vacation to see the leaves change and everything, and brought a nice New England cold back with me. But came back and the Hobby King sent me out the Excalibur version 2 and asked me to review it, and I said I will. I had it a long time ago, and I long since disposed of that plane. Actually, I may still have it in parts around here, but I haven't flown it forever. I just remember it was a lot of fun. I think I developed a motor mount vibration that I couldn't resolve or something, and I don't know. I've already opened it up and took the quick setup guide out. I just know that I just remember it was a lot of fun until it wasn't, until I couldn't fly it anymore. I took it out one day, it had a really bad vibration, and I tried to get some new motor mount parts or whatever. Of course, they weren't available, and Hobby King is working on that. I've been working on it for quite a while, but I just remember I was like, man, I hope I can get that again. And sure enough, they contacted me and said, we'd like to send you out to you for a review, and I'm like, goody, that works out great. All right, now remember, this is a HOTLINER. This is not a glider per se. I mean, yes, by definition, it is a glider, but it is a high-performance sport glider. It's very fast, very strong, actually physically heavy. You're running on a 4-cell, like a 2200, and they also sent out their 2200 4S Shorty to go with it, and I'm going to run it on a 4-channel Spectrum AR410. But like I said, I sound a little nasally because of the cold. Now, you have, when I say it's strong and heavy, you have carbon fiber reinforcement through all the way to the very end of the plane. Okay, it's very stiff, very thin, compact foam. I mean, now you have a pinch hinge, but this is a pinch hinge with a very, I don't know if you can see it, how shiny, a very thick layer of laminate in there. So you're going to need to work that hinge, but that's a very strong hinge. Hard plastic points to protect the wing. It is a screw in, but with a quick connect type connection. High vis livery. It's a 1600 millimeter wingspan, or I think 63 inches if I remember right. Yeah, 63-inch wingspan. And it's not a big plane, but not a little plane either. A good sized plane. Very hard. Okay, it takes two wing spars. Now, I'm not going to lie to y'all. V-tails are confusing to me. All I know is that the movement of the V-tails of both the ruddervators, or whatever you want to say, when they move, they counteract each other's motion to push the tail around. Usually with a traditional plane, the rudder would make the nose go this way or that way, depending on whether you're turning right or turning left. Okay, whereas this, it makes the plane move at an axis, okay, and instead it moves the tail to point the nose, if that makes any sense. Each of the ruddervators, if you want to call them that, they counter each other's movement to move the tail back and forth. Like say, this is your plane. Well, let me get the fuselage out. Okay, this is your fuselage. This is your plane. Instead of the rudder turning the plane this way or that way with a rudder, instead it turns the tail. And you're not going to necessarily drop it. You're not going to drop as much as you would with a regular rudder. So it moves the tail around. So you set up as a V-tail mixing. With Spectrum, it's going to be either V-tail A or V-tail B. If the rudder works and they move opposite of each other, then you got it right. If they work like elevators and if they work like an elevator, then you got the other one. So it needs to be V-tail B then. But we'll do that during the setup. But and if you're flying along and you give it rudder and you went right rudder, if you go right rudder and the front of the plane turns left, then you know you got it wrong. So just reverse it. But until that time, you're just going to fly it like a bank and yank. So, and that's what I do. I flew mine as a bank and yank. If the rudders weren't right, I just flew as a bank and yank, and then I just reversed them. Okay, simple setup. Oh, and this has a, I mean, this thing's kind of heavy too. I mean, it's actually, this has got some weight to it. This feels like, almost like a piece of, hard to explain it. It's like a big carbon fiber tube. It's not, the whole thing's made of foam, but it's reinforced, heavily reinforced with a lot of plastic and a lot of plastic bits, carbon fiber reinforcement. Got carbon fiber going down the full length, up, I don't know if you can see it up in there, all the way down the end. And you've got I think it's a 50 amp, 60 amp ESC, one of their G2s. It's got a thrust reversing, but who's going to need that for this kind of a plane? And got plenty of room there. You're going to put a 2200 up in there. Just going to slide the receiver back up in there. And this is hard plastic here. I'm going to tug and groove that end. It's a tight fit. Okay. Okay. Oh, getting over this dang cold. Yeah. Oh, I got foam in the way. Oh, that'll do it. There, pop that down there, and then turn that fin. Well, mine is wanting to be cantankerous, because you want this to lock in tight. Okay. Yeah. So if you don't fit right, just undo it. If you got too far, and lock it in, it's nice and tight. I mean, that's very, very meant to be sleek and strong and tight fitting. All right, and you got both halves, ball link connections. Look at the carbon fiber. You got carbon fiber here, here, and here in the rudder. Very, very stiff, heavy laminate. So work your ruddervators. I don't know. Okay. Metal geared servos throughout. Okay. Now, you can also forego the spinner and install your, I guess they're disposable, these plastic nose. Okay. You just kind of glue that on and make it a hotliner. Mine's a little crushed, but you just glue that on and make it a slope sore if you want to do that. I won't be doing that, of course. Alrighty, let me get my materials together and we'll start building this bad boy. Alright, I'll be right back. Alright, we're back. Now, you're going to want to start with your tail feathers. You got your two leads to each of your ruddervators. I'm going to call them ruddervators. Okay? You're building a sandwich. See this cutout right here? See the bottom of that rudder? FBI calls that a clue. But before we work on that clue, let's pay attention to our polarity. I'm going to hook this up. See the yellow and the... Okay, you're always going to hook the light color, light to light, dark to dark. Okay? So you got yellow here, okay? I'm going to tuck that wire back down in there the best you can. Let it hang off for just a second. We're going to take the other half, okay? We're going to hook yellow to yellow, light to light, dark to dark. It's always the way that's going to go, okay? I'm going to let that wire, no glue needed for this. And this section here, I'm just going to sit down in there. Shove that down like that. Okay. Let that sandwich down in there like that. I'm going to take this wire, this servo wire connection. Okay. Shove that up in there. We're going to have the decals up towards the top of the plane. Okay. All right. See, I built myself a ruddervator sandwich. Okay. Then going to take this cover, and that's going to just sandwich it like that. Okay? Now you've got all these little screws that take a 2mm hex drive. They give you a tool to do it with, a Allen wrench, but I like using my own stuff because it's easier for me to hold. Okay? Start off with this one here. Nice and tight. Okay. Get the other one in there. Maybe. Oh, sorry. Telling y'all wrong. Okay. That goes in there like that. Okay. Gonna flip it over. Places where it goes in here. Tight. Okay. Oh. Always drop some screws. It's necessary. It's part of it. You have to drop screws each time. Okay. We're going to change this stand because that's going to drive me nuts. It's going to sound terrible. All right. Okay. We'll have that sound now. All right. Back to this. Make sure these are nice and tight. Okay. Okay. Well, we're poking holes in it. Okay, that's in there tight. It's in there tight. That's in there tight. That's in there tight. All right. Now for these two, however, okay, we got 1, 2, all right, we got extra. For these two, you're going to use the machine-looking screws, which don't look like wood screws on the end. They have a machined end to them. In other words, they're flat, okay? Yeah. Well, maybe I'm wrong. Because I don't have the instructions like y'all will have. Okay, it's the same screws. Same screws got like a wood screw. In other words, they have like a wood screw end to them. See, I make mistakes like everybody else. Okay. So all the same screws to put on your tail feathers, your rudder vaders. All right, there you go. And that has a nice sandwich look to it when it's all done. Okay. All right. Well, you got the hard plastic back here. Okay, let's get switched around here. Now, with this here, very simple. Turn your model over. And nope, wrong. Attach everything from the front. You got the screws holes up here. You're going to take 4 of these machine screws, here, that have the flat. They don't look like wood screws. They're just flat. Okay. Take your 2 carbon fiber spars. Go ahead and have them open. And I'm going to say I think the longest one's going to go towards the front. There's nothing blocking you there. On the back here. You may have to fight with it a little bit. All right. There you go. See how that's going to look when you're done? Okay. This has that quick connect we were talking about. See where it connects inside the wing? Between them spars there. Okay. Slide your wing on. Press it into place, nice and firm. Okay. Grab the machine screws. Remember, like I said, you want to get one in and then use it as a pivot point for the other one. So I'm going to put the first screw in here. Okay. And if this one isn't lining up enough, if this one doesn't, the front one doesn't line up as well, I'll loosen this one up so I can use it as a pivot point to pull it in. But that was looks like it's lining up just fine. So, get my machine screws. It'll say in the directions which is which, but just remember the screws with the pointing end are for the tail, the one with the flat ends are for the wing. You want this? You're going a metal screw into a metal housing. So you're going to anchor down too bad, but you want to get nice and snug. When you get some really resistance, that's when you want to stop. Okay, that's nice and snug. Okay. Line this other one up. The other wing up. Make sure it's all in there nice and snug. Get your machined screws with the flat ends. Get one in there real good, and then use it as a pivot point for the other one. All right. Yeah, that one didn't quite line up, so I'm going to push the front of that wing in, using it as a pivot point. And put this last screw in. I'll tell you what, these winter or late fall colds suck. I'm just dripping. Just like a river coming out of my nose. There we go. And that is a very hardy model. All right, now, what they don't give you to get the prop off here. I realize you couldn't see me. Back up just a little bit. Okay. To get the nose coming off, you're going to need a 2.5 hex drive. to undo the nose cone. Okay, the tool they give you doesn't undo this, but I like it the way they do this way. That way, all your prop assembly is all in one piece. Okay, undo that screw. It's only a big old honking screw that's going to come out of there. Big machine screw, the biggest screw in the kit. Take your metal cap. Okay, then you got your bolt washer, one piece. Undo that. Don't drop it on the floor. We can't find it. Undo your prop. Okay. Pull this entire assembly out. This is what you're wanting to deal with right now. Normally I don't put the stuff on in the man cave, but for right now, we're going to for assembly purposes. Slide that all the way on. Okay, you're going to put this piece back on. Okay, put your wing prop back on, washer back on, and your locking washer back on. Okay. Now, take a tool. I'll tighten that down. That is, I can hear it moving the motor. Make sure I'm good and tight. Okay. All right. And the force of the wind will pull that out when you run it. Put your cap back on there. Put screw back on there. Oh, I grab the right tool. It does make things easier. Like I said, I'm not a big fan or advocate of keeping a prop on while you're in the shop, but I'm just trying to show you how to put this together. Okay, and that is all you do. You're going to have a little bit gap there, but that's okay. You know what? Let me reconfigure that. I'm going to see if I can't get rid of some of that gap. I'll be right back. Alrighty, I couldn't. That's as far back as you're going to get it. I thought maybe I could push that nut on there a little bit harder there and reduce the gap, but no, that's as far. That's the way it's supposed to be. All right, took the hatch off because I want to use a servo tester because I want to center the servos, all 4 servos, before we attach the push rods. Okay, push rods are all the same exact size. All right, so I'm going to grab my Aileron Y lead. Okay. Okay. That should be centered. Let me look at it real quick. All right, got them centered now. If you know how to use your servo tester, you're going to get them centered. Okay. Show you how to hook these type of ball links up. Okay. Got your servo arm. Okay, there's your ball link. Okay, the instructions don't say. They may say on the the QR code, if you scan this, you'll get the whole detailed instructions. But this is just a quick setup guide for me. It gives you suggested throws. You want very little throws with this because the thing moves very, very fast, and it's good size control surfaces. Doesn't tell me where. If rather than detailed instructions, it probably would tell me, but I'm not pulling them up right now. In order to put this type of push rod with this type of a connector, you see that end, that pin there, the end of that pin, okay? You see the hole there on the inside of that, okay? All right, see that channel right there? That is going to go through this hole and slide down, and the whole thing will lock in place. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put, oh, they've already got a, okay, the outermost hole is where they guess they want you to put it. Okay. And since that's already centered, that's too long. I wonder if these are different links. I don't think so. Nope, they're the same links. Okay, so put it in the outside hole. Okay, and it doesn't quite line up with this being centered, so you're going to have to turn this in to get it centered. Okay, a little more. I'd much rather have to tighten it up than loosen it. Okay, a little bit more. One more time. And that looks like that's going to be perfect. Okay, now here's what would be helpful to have: a ball link tool, which I have one, I just didn't have it handy. But you can use pliers. Okay. Well, or use your hands. Okay. All right, you're going to take that little, remember I said it's got that hole there. It's got that channel that bar is going to ride into. So put it through there, get it underneath. Helps to put something hard underneath there. It's fiddly. It's a little fiddly, but you can do it. Okay. There, hear that click into place? And that's what that should look like when it's all done. Okay. All right, do the other side. I'll tell you what, I'll get all of them done, but it's the same process for all control surfaces. Make sure they're centered, hook them up, and be done with them. We'll be right back. All right, something I do want to point out, in order to hook up your stabilators, you're going to need to hook up the control arms on the servos. Now, I've already got everything centered on both of these. You got a little baggie with two little screws in it. You'll need a Phillips head screwdriver for this step. Okay. Since these are already centered, I'll go ahead and put these at a 90-degree angle, or what appears to be a 90-degree angle for me. Okay, press them into place, and then those little screws that you're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver for, and the little machine screws, just going to secure that control arm in place, servo arm in place. You're going to use the outermost holes to hook up your push rods. Okay. All right. I might have moved that one real quick. Let me make sure that they are both centered again. All right, that's centered. Grab the other one. And that's centered. All right, they're even on how they, oh, there goes the battery. All right, so you're gonna grab your ball link, you're gonna push it in the outermost hole here, okay? And you're gonna hook it up here. Now, that's a little too long. Hold it at this end to make sure it's neutral. You want that just to ride on there perfectly. So it's got to go in a little bit. It's got to get a little shorter. Okay. Holding it neutral here. That looks pretty good right there. So take my ball link and my ball link tool, and I'm going to put that on there. Okay. Now, take the other. Oh yeah, go ahead and hook up your protector. Okay, remember we talked about this is going to be a little fiddly because you got to fit this under here. Oh, it's already centered, so I don't care if it moves. It's a little fiddly. But these are just the kind of things you have to do. This channel, this open channel, is going to swing in onto that arm. So let me get it under there. Get it on there. Hold it. Oh. This kind of stuff's fiddly, but trust me, this is what you want it to do. You want it to be in there. You do not want this coming off. This is your elevator, rudder, whole thing here. I'm going to swing in on that arm, and that locks it in place there. Okay, get the other side hooked up. Okay, I'm going to put it in the outermost hole. It's okay, this has been moved. And that's not too far off. It's going to have to go in just a little bit. I'll hold this end. I want that to lay on there and be straight. Okay. Oh, I'm making it wrong there. Gotta go right to make it. Right tight makes it shorter. Okay. All right. Laying that on there. I want that to line up. That feels pretty good. Arg. Come on. Yeah, that feels good. Maybe do it from this angle here. There we go. All right, you want to make sure those are on there good. That ball link's on there good. All right. Yeah, see, that popped in more. You definitely want to make sure everything is on there nice and purty. So you're going to, after all said and done, you're going to have a few extra screws and wing guards left over, or the connection guards left over. All right, now everything's hooked up. The guards are all hooked up. Everything looks like it's nice and bench trim. By the words, it's level with the centered servos. Okay, now it's labeled. Each of these are labeled left stab, right stab. Okay, so pick whichever way you want to put it. One's going to go on the rudder channel, okay, and the other one's going to go on your elevator channel. So, okay, because they're going to act as, because you're going to set this up as a V-tail. On Spectrum, channel 1 is Spectrum, or channel 1 is Throttle, channel 2 is Ailerons, channel 3 is Elevator, channel 4 is always Rudder, and then anything more than that is gear and flaps and so on and so on and so forth. But that's always the beginning order. So on the 4 channel, the first thing I'm going to hook up is my throttle in 1. Remember the light side or the signal side of the wire, or the yellow in this case, is going to go towards the top of the receiver. Okay. Then the second thing I'm going to hook up will be my aileron Y, which they work together. Third thing I'm going to hook up, it'll be my left, for me, I'm going to use my left stabilator. And then the fourth thing I'm going to hook up is my right stabilator. And then I'm going to take this receiver, I'm going to bind her up. Then I'll take, when she's bound, I'll put the receiver, shove it back in the back. You're not going to be like, if you put a stabilized receiver, you're going to have a dickens of a time to try to get it in there level and nice and flat. Okay? Just this plane here flies very, very stable. You don't need safe. You don't need self-leveling with this, okay? It's a very stable plane, but it's a very fast plane. This is not a beginner's plane, okay? But if you are someone who has to have safe, you have to have stabilization, this may not be the plane for you, okay? But I will tell you, if you're feeling adventurous, I can tell you right now, it flies great. It flies nice and stable. It flies true. And you don't need a stabilizer. And the thing flies so fast anyways that it's going to be so hard, unless you're John at Two Brothers RC who knows how to work those throttle-based gains just perfect, which to me, I know it's simple, but for me, it's confusing for me. That's a different subject. But he does a great job with that. But unless you're going to do that, okay, you're not going to be using a wind gyro. You're not going to be using any of that. Just put a simple 4-channel receiver in this thing, put it in the sky, and have fun with it. Just keep it simple. You know, I had a wonderful supervisor for me years ago who was teaching me on how to, you know, be a supervisor and everything. And we're not getting into that, but he just said, do everything in the KISS administrative idea. I said, what do you mean by? He said, KISS. Do everything with KISS. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. So there you go. And so just keep it simple. Simple 4-channel receiver. It's got a good, reliable range. Throw it in the sky and have some fun with it. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get her all bound up and everything. We'll take it out to the field and we'll give you a maiden and I'll show you how I worked out the tail and how I worked out my throws and everything at the field. All right. God bless y'all. I'll see you out in the field here in just a little bit. And we'll have some fun with this HOTLINER Excalibur 2. Bye, y'all. Oh, yeah. Hobby King, thank you. Hobby King, thank you.